Are you undecided between a neutral or high angle? Don't you understand what a Dutch angle is? Oh well, today we're talking about camera shooting angles. Hello everyone, my name is Alex Silva and today I'd like to talk to you about camera shooting angles. But what is this and why are they important? Whenever we think about the aesthetics of an image, we instantly think about the camera composition and camera composition rules, or image composition rules anyway. And that is great. It is a major portion of the aesthetics in an image. However, it's not the only factor we should consider when creating an image and considering the aesthetic value of it. We also should consider the shooting angle, but what is that? It's actually very simple. The shooting angle considers how much we tilt the camera. And this is the first angle that we can learn. This is the neutral angle in which the lens or the lens axis is more or less parallel to the ground. And the camera is pretty much, you could say, horizontal, and more or less like that. It's not exactly parallel, but similar to it. And this is more or less the way that we look at the world. So whenever we shoot like this, we are creating images that seem pretty natural and normal, and pretty neutral and balanced. So we are not portraying anything as good or bad or more important or whatever. We look at the world, where we're showing the world more or less like it is, as it is. However, if we start tilting the camera down, let's say up to 45 degrees or something like that, this is called a high angle. And whenever we look at this, we're making our subject look small or smaller than it normally is. But we need to consider this is not only smaller in size, but also in importance. We're making it look like actually smaller than the environment. Imagine how we look at animals or sometimes children. Whenever we look at them looking down, we don't consider them as equals. That's why this angle is used for that, in order to make the subject look smaller, but not only in size but also in importance. The opposite of that is the low angle. Actually, the camera seems to be lower than our subject, and in this case we can make a person look even larger than a building, or as large as a big building. In this case, we're trying to make the subject look big, but not only in size but in importance as well. If you want to shoot, let's say, a high executive from a company, a CEO or something, you'll probably go more or less like this, in order for this person to look more important. Another angle that we need to consider is this. When the camera is looking straight down, this is called the bird's eye view. And in these cases, the subject will look distant and really unusual and unnatural. You have probably seen shots like this used in movies, whenever they show, let's say, a bird's eye view of the streets in a city, things like that. And those are usually made to give us a bit of a context how one character or one character's story is a small portion of a larger universe. This angle is great for that. It's not only used for that, but it's a common meaning of this angle is that we're making this person look really, really small and distant. The opposite of that is like this, shooting straight up to our subject, and this is called a nadir or nadir. To be honest, I can't remember the pronunciation. I'll look for it. But in any case, this is the opposite, and this also makes our subject look distant. But in this case, we're not making it look small, but actually really, really big. But most importantly, out of reach, almost God-like. So that's why this angle is very unusual, but whenever we use it, it's seriously effective in making our subject look unattainable. And last but not least, something that I mentioned at the beginning of the video is the Dutch angle. The Dutch angle is something like this. Sometimes we crook our images just a bit by mistake. In this particular case, we make it look seriously intentional with this crookedness. Why? It's very interesting. This is mostly used, or I have seen it mostly used in horror movies or thrillers or things like that. Whenever we see let's say the villain of the story, and we want to make sure that we have the impression of a twisted person, insane or something like that, the camera will seriously tilt in order for us to see a tilted or crooked image of this person. And this is a super simple trick that we can only crook the image, and the person or our subject will look totally unstable. Those are the main camera shooting angles: neutral, high angle, low angle, bird's eye view, nadir, and Dutch angle. Now that you know the different camera shooting angles, well, the best thing for you to understand them is to try them. My suggestion for you is to find the subject, try to shoot him all using all these different angles, so you can see how one single subject can change a lot just based on the shooting angle. I really hope I answered your question, or I helped you understand what is the camera shooting angle. And if you like this video, please push the like button. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, of course you can go and subscribe here. If you prefer to read the blog post, you can subscribe to the weekly newsletter. And if you'd like to add to the conversation, leave a comment below. In the meantime, please remember to keep learning and keep shooting.